नमस्ते, खुश रहो बिटिया। I am JVN Devendra Kumar Gora, Assistant Professor in Faculty of Education at Jayoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. Today in this online session, I am going to deal with T.S. Eliot's Tradition and Individual Talent. Eliot's the essay Tradition and Individual Talent was published in 1999. This is an essay written by Eliot, and this was first published in Egoist, and later on Eliot's first book of criticism, The Sacred Woods, which was published in 1920. The essay was a part of this collection. Tradition and Individual Talent is more well-known work that Eliot produced in his critic capacity. The Tradition and Individual Talent was regarded as an unofficial manifesto of Eliot's criticism, for it contains all those critical principles from which his criticism has been derived ever since. The seeds which have been shown here come to fruition in his subsequent essays. It is a declaration of Eliot's critical creed, and these principles are the basis of all his subsequent criticism. The essay is divided into three parts. The first part deals with Eliot's concept of tradition. In the second part is developed his theory of impersonality about poetry, and the third part is in the nature of conclusion. We can say summing of the whole discussion. So what is the significance of the concept of the tradition? Eliot begins by pointing out that the word tradition is generally regarded as a term of the censor. It sounds disagreeable to the English ears. When the English praises a poet, they praise him for those aspects of his work which are individual and original. It is supposed that his chief merits lies in such parts. This undue stress on individuality shown that English have an uncritical turn of mind. They praise the poet for the wrong things. If they examine the matter critically with the unprejudiced mind, they will realize that the best and the most individual part of the poet's work is that which shows the maximum influence of the writers of the past. To quote his own words, whereas if we approach a poet without his prejudice, we shall often find that only the best but the most individual part of his work may be those in which the dead poets, his ancestors, assert their immorality most vigorously. Emphasizing on the value of the tradition, Eliot points out that no writer has the value and significance in isolation. To judge the work of the poet or an artist, we must compare or contrast his work with the works of the poets and artists of the past. Such comparison and contrast is essential for forming an idea of the real worth and significance of a new writer and his work. Eliot's conception of tradition is a dynamic one. According to his view, tradition is not anything fixed and static. It is constantly changing, growing, and becoming different by the time a writer is present must seek guidance from the past. He means to say every writer shall learn something from the past. He must confirm the literary tradition. But just as the past directs and guides the present, so the present alters and modifies the past. This is the contribution of past in the tradition. Now, the impersonality of poetry. The artist must continually surrender himself to something which is more valuable than himself. We can say literary tradition. He must allow his poetic sensibility to be shaped and modified by the past, and he must continue to acquire the sense of tradition throughout his career. In the beginning, his individuality, his self, his assertion, but as his power nature, there must be greater and greater extinction of the personality. He must acquire great objectivity. His emotions and passion must be depersonalized. He must be impersonal and objective as a scientist. The personality of the artist is very not much more important. The important thing is his sense of tradition. A good poem is a living whole of all the poetry that has ever been written. He must forget his personal joys and sorrow and be absorbed in acquiring a sense of tradition and expressing it in his poetry. Thus, the poet's personality is merely a medium, having the same significance as a catalytic agent or a receptacle in which chemical reaction takes place. Thank you. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment section. Thank you very much.